So once again, good morning. Welcome to this class. I'm sure we know this class is CLN 751. 751 is quantitative methods in linguistics. So in the class, we will be focusing on quantitative techniques. So let me share my screen so that I will show you a few things before we go to the lecture proper. Are you able to see my screen now? What page am I showing? Who is responding? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The general page.
Okay, so this is the classroom page, and on this page you will have the stream, you have the classwork, you have the people. I don't know if you are already familiar with the interface before, but anytime we have meeting, this is where you click to join the meeting, and then you can also make announcements here or ask questions, answer questions, make comments generally as you may wish. And the classwork page, that's where you have the course materials and course resources for you to access. The course lecture for today is here. You can always download it, and it will always be there at the end of the class. So it's good for you to always visit the classroom and then review the lecture notes ahead of the class. The course outline is here. I'm sure you are aware of the bootcamp program that is being packaged that will possibly come up next week. So then on this page, this is where you see the people in the class. Good enough. Everybody seems to have joined the class. But if there are still people who have not joined, please advise them to let me know on the WhatsApp group. So two of us will be teaching the course. Dr. Ademola Lewis and myself. I've not had it. Well, you won't be able to see this page because it's not visible to the student, but any assignment, quiz, and so on, this is where the grades are recorded. You will get your own, but you won't be able to see others. So that's just the view of the classroom page. I'm sure you'll get used to the interface as we continue. Now for today's lecture, except you have any quick Any quick reaction? Let me know. If not, so we can go ahead with what we have for today. So my name is Olusanya Olubusoye. I'm from the Department of Statistics. Dr. Demola Lewis is from the Linguistics. So we will be working together to deliver this course. So for today, we will cover an overview of what quantitative methods are in linguistics. And then we will also see the role of statistics in linguistics. The point where the two of them intersect, where they cross each other, statistics and linguistics. We will have a discussion on that. And then we will look at types of linguistic data. Mind you, I'm not expert in linguistics, but the idea here, most of you will probably know more than I do as far as the linguistic is concerned. But we will talk about the types of linguistic data that we can have or analyze. Then we will introduce ourselves to statistical software. So you are gradually moving from art to science, from narratives to analytics. I'm sure you are fully prepared. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear. You just need to be more committed and upgrade yourself. Change the whatever mentality that you must have, or phobia that you probably have regarding numbers and symbols. So, by way of definition, what is quantitative analysis? One can say quantitative analysis refers to methods that involve one, numerical data, and statistical techniques. You need data in quantitative analysis. You also need techniques that will enable you to analyze the data. So these two go together in quantitative analysis. You must also have heard about qualitative analysis, which is a direct opposite of quantitative analysis. In qualitative analysis, the analysis could be based on arguments, so they are not precise. But quantitative analysis are more precise, and they carry figures, they carry numbers, and so they can, to a large extent, be generalized. So the goal of quantitative analysis basically is to identify relationships, to also study trends, to also make generalizations in language use. So keep that in mind. For instance, one could measure vowel duration across accents. So one could look at relationship uh, between vowel duration and different accents. That's talking about relationship. We could also analyze reaction times in psycholinguistic experiments. Um, Again, you are looking at uh, uh, the relationship, and then you can study word frequency in corpora. You want to see the usage, the frequency of the usage of words uh, in any document, So you 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 have to do quantitative analysis in these examples. So what are why do we use quantitative uh, analysis, But before I go to that, unlike the qualitative analysis, which I earlier referred to, uh, qualitative analysis focuses on the interpretation and meaning, whereas quantitative analysis is data-driven and very objective. No. So you should be able to distinguish between uh, qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. I'm sure you've done quite a lot with regard to qualitative analysis, trying to interpret documents, trying to also make meaning from documents. But what can mean different things? Uh, different interpretations can also be given. But in quantitative analysis, you have uh, preciseness and objectivity are key. So to answer the question, why use quantitative methods in linguistics? Yeah. One, sometimes we want objectivity and reproducibility. Objectivity simply means that you are not it's not based on your own intuition. It's not based on your own feeling, but it's something that everybody can follow your steps and arrive at the same conclusion. That's being objective. If I say 1 + 1 is equals to 2, another person will not get something different. So, and then you see that it's not only being objective, it's also reproducible. So results that are based on numerical data are objective, and they are also reproducible. Another reason why we use, or we may be interested in quantitative method is scalability. And that means one can apply quantitative analysis to large data sets, but example is the corpus linguistics, where you have a large amount of words. Then it allows for comparability. You are able to compare languages, you are able to compare dialects, you are also to compare speakers, groups. I mean, as you are familiar with different lecturers, they will be speaking differently. They will also have different, perhaps different dialects. And so you can analyze, you can compare systematically. Beyond that, quantitative analysis gives you the power to predict. So it has that predictive power. So because statistical models can be built, so models basically are meant to understand and a phenomenon, and to also predict future, behavior. For instance, those of you using phones, you have different, when you are typing, something is suggesting the next word to you. So that's predictive analytics, and that also is one reason why quantitative methods are quite useful. You have this example of, for instance, you want to answer the question whether men and women differ in speech rate. So we are doing comparative analysis. Is there a correlation between age and code switching? That you are doing, you are trying to study relationship, and if there is correlation, then one can be used to predict the other. Because if there is a relationship, then it means the knowledge of one can help to predict the knowledge of the other. So at this point, I want to have a pause and just have one or two or three people to contribute to this discussion, so that I'm not the only speaker. Who wants to start? One or two. Just tell me your perspective, your whatever comment you made so far. Yes, yes. Go on, cassava.
Okay, sir. My question is,
Tell us your
um,
name. Tell us your name, and if there's anything you want to.
okay, my name is Kasaba Abib.
Okay,
Um,
go
is
on.
that what, sir? Should I
Go on.
introduce myself?
If there's anything else you want us to know, no problem. If you want me
Okay,
to
my name is
know,
Kasaba Abib. I'm a graduate of Linguistics, University of Ibadan.
great. I
Yes,
thought you would.
sir, my question.
Go on, go on, go on, go on.
Okay, my question is it not possible to use qualitative analysis to get accurate data? Is it only quantitative analysis that give adequate data?
Okay, if I ask you now, if I say, are you tall? What will you say? Cassava, are you
Yes, sir.
tall? Are you tall or short?
Averagely, sir. I'm average in height. I have
Okay,
average height.
so it's not precise. If I say, are you middle age? Are you young? Are you old? What will you say?
I'm young.
You are young, but that is you. But if somebody says I'm 30 years old, what would that mean? That is more precise, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
If I say you are young, there is another person here, maybe Ghanaian, uh, who will also say she's young and, you know, uh, she's under 16. So it's not precise when you use qualitative. That's the point we are making. But when you use quantitative, then I can compare your age with Ghanaian's age and see you are this much older than Ghanaian or this much younger than Ghanaian. Are you okay, Cassava?
Yes, sir.
Great. So that's the point when we talk about qualitative, quantitative, being more, one is more objective, the other is subjective. So one is reproducible, the other is not reproducible because it can have different interpretation. So you can, except you have another question, you can put down your hand. Who else has the question? Comment. If you don't ask, I can force you to speak. Yes, Robert, this is the last person. Robert,
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
yes.
sir, for the time, sir. We're grateful to have you around, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I want to ask, can we combine both methods, quantitative and qualitative?
Sure, but this course is quantitative.
Okay, sir.
So that's the point. So we are only making reference to qualitative just for us to be able to clarify the pathway between the two. You know, I want a lady. Or are we all? Are we all? Before I move on quickly, we've spent almost 30 minutes and we have a lot to cover in this lecture. Is there a lady, a mommy, a sister? I can see them, but they are hiding. I can see Ghanaian, I can see Deborah, except if the name is not correlated with the gender. So just say yes or just say good morning, even if you are not going to ask questions.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on. So the next issue of concern is what is the role of statistics in linguistic research? Because again, you are doing masters, and masters, the major component of your program is research. So there is this the course aspect and also the research aspect, and perhaps outside the academic environment, research is always something of interest, even in industry. So what is the role of linguistics the role of statistics in research? Yes, so here there are three major roles. So, but by the way, linguistics research often involves large data sets, making statistical methods very, very, very essential. So you can have a document that is so voluminous, so and you want to analyze them. Great. So there are three major roles that one can uh, 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 give to statistics. So one is statistics can help you describe your linguistic data. So you can use statistics to summarize, get the mean, the median, the standard deviation. These are concepts I think you are familiar with in secondary school or somewhere along your educational progression. Then, for instance, you could obtain average vowel length in a different dialect. So you can describe your data. Two, you can draw very meaningful conclusions, even beyond the data that you have. You can, for instance, test hypotheses, make a claim, and test those hypotheses. One example is, do speakers from two regions pronounce out differently? If I ask all of us now to begin to pronounce a specific vowel, we would pronounce differently. So the pronunciation could differ in terms of region, tribe, and so on like that. So we can test hypothesis, make a claim, and also use statistics to answer whatever claim or whatever hypothesis or we formulated. You can formulate an hypothesis and also test. Another aspect, the third aspect where statistics finds a role in linguistic research is the experimental design and data collection. So here you can perform experiment as if you are in the laboratory, and bring people, group them, and apply what we normally call treatment, and compare groups, those who have this treatment, those who have this this kind of intervention, and those who don't have that intervention, and then you now analyze the data that you have collected. So you can perform experiments, similar to a laboratory experiment. So these are the three major areas where statistics plays significant role in linguistic research. Then, when it comes to data, this is very important. Linguistic data, we can categorize them into four. So the first one is called nominal. Don't forget, nominal. These are linguistic data that are categorical without having any inherent order. For instance, if we talk of gender, you can have male, you can have female, and in some other places they say non-binary, but in our place is simply male, female. But you can start, no gender is greater than the other. I mean, so I can put male first, I can put female, female can also come first and so on. In nominal, the words are in categories. The data, rather, they are in categories. And the categories are, they have no order, not that one is above the other, no. For instance, class of degree has order, even though it's in category, first class, second class upper, second class lower, it has order. So we can't say it's nominal. But again, we can talk of geopolitical zone as being categorical. Southeast, southwest, you can go in any order you want. Not that a particular geopolitical zone must always come first in your listing. When you have that kind of data, the statistical techniques for analyzing them is what we call the chi-square test. So you will be getting to know more about that in subsequent lectures. Two is the ordinal. Yes, the addition here is that even though they are categorical, then they are ordered. So, for instance, if you are talking of proficiency level, so proficiency level is categorical, maybe beginner, maybe intermediate, maybe advanced, but we know you can't put beginner, after intermediate. So it has order. So ordinal data, they are in categories, and at the same time, they are ordered. When we are to analyze them, we use Mann-Whitney U-test. Again, you can learn, we will learn about that in future lectures, subsequent lectures. Number three, in the list of the type of data that we can have is the interval. Here, interval data, they are ordered. They have all the attributes of the last two. So they are ordered, and then you have equal interval, but the only issue here is that it does not have a true zero. For instance, most of you are familiar with Lakert scale rating. Maybe you rate, you say is beautiful or most beautiful, and so on like that, or you rate opinion, from 1 to 5, and so on, like that. So you have different. So we can now say for this for particular reaction time, we can say, okay, you can rate it as being very slow, slow, fast, rapid, and so on like that. So in Lakert scale, there is no true zero. That's the most important thing there. And then the appropriate statistical test that we use is t-test or the ANOVA. All of these techniques, statistical techniques, you will get to know them more later. The last one, which is in fact the highest level of statistical data that one can use, is the ratio. So its ratio is, it has all the attributes of interval, but in addition, it has a true 0 point. For instance, if you are looking at duration of vowels in second, so you can have people, you can have 0. That's the point. You can have 0. If you are looking at speech rates, you can also have 0 words per minute, and so on like that. So you can have true 0. And in analyzing this kind of data, you use regression. So this ratio is the highest level of data that one can use in linguistics. So we have here a good number, more examples of linguistic data classification. So let's go through these few examples of each data type. For instance, nominal. Example is if you are talking of language choice, English, Yoruba, Hausa. So language choice, you can list all the languages, but the main thing here is that just as I have English, Yoruba, Hausa, I can start with Hausa, Yoruba, English. There is no one class that is above the other, no order. But in ordinal, for instance, if you are talking of speaker proficiency, then you can say low, you can say medium, you can say high. You can even assign number to that. So there is order. So low cannot come after medium, and so on like that. Then you have interval. Example is the lexical decision reaction time, which is in milliseconds. There is no true 0 in this kind of measurement. But in ratio, if you are looking at fundamental frequency of vowels, then you can have a true 0. So the point I want us to quickly discuss now is why does choosing the right data type matter for statistical analysis? Why is it important that when we have our data, we should be able to say, no, this is the type of data that I have. This is the type of analysis that is appropriate to analyze it. Is anybody going to say one or two things during this speech? Why does choosing the right data type matter for statistical analysis? Why does it matter? Edibion. Why does it matter? I'm alone in this class. Yeah, cassava, since Dipiong is not in the class. Yes, go on.
I think it matters in cases whereby we are analyzing the data that needs to assign code. So I think it will be useful in that instance, in cases where we have to assign code.
Great, great. That's a good perspective. Is there any other intervention? Some are just too quiet. I can see Udo not speaking, Lawa not speaking, Robert too quiet, Dibyong maybe in the cooler. Who else? If you are not asking questions, I mean, contributing, you are not, really helping. Yes, Ghanaian, finally, yes, let's hear your voice.
Yes, sir. It matters to use the right statistical analysis because, for example, now the nominal type of data,
Yeah,
you said we have to use chi-square.
yeah,
So it won't all go well if we use something like ANOVA because we
ex-
won't get the exact results that we need for our analysis.
excellent, excellent. But why are you quiet? Why are you quiet? Maybe I should give you your exam result right away. Uh, so that's a brilliant response, just like the last speaker's. So the point is that you need to know the data type to be able to know the appropriate statistical test. So if you don't know if you see your data and you can't say this is nominal data, you can't say if this is ordinal data, you can't say this is interval data, you can't say this is ratio data, then how will you know the kind of data you are, the kind of statistical analysis that you will use? You know, somebody made a comment. Let me read it. I hope it's for the. Uh, you can also type your stuff in the chat menu, so that if you don't want to talk, uh, yeah, so this is from Lawa. Lawa, you have not spoken. I wish to contribute my quota, but my audio is not really okay, sir. I was wondering if yes, you can type. Having the right data to perform analysis is important, as the right data allows for reproducibility, data integrity, and data accuracy. Thank you, my name. Okay, thank you very much. So that's also an excellent contribution. So what we have agreed now is that when you have your data, your statistical data, uh, you need to know the type. You need to know the type of data you have. Uh, that will help you to know the type of statistical analysis that you can, you know, apply to your data. So you don't just wake up and, I have data, I have linguistic data. Then you just pick any statistical method and apply. So you'll be doing, something that is not meaningful. So that is the point. I'm sure that is a bit clear to everybody. If it is not clear, just say it is not clear in the chat menu. But if it is clear in the chat menu, type yes. Everybody should be able to respond to this. In the chat menu, type yes if that explanation is clear. So, Lawa, I've seen your yes. There are still many people who have not decided whether to say yes or no. And your fair, I've seen your yes. I'm still waiting for others. Udo, fine, I've seen your yes. Maybe grudgingly you say yes. But I used to remember one song, do not say yes when you mean to say no. Some have not typed yes or no, only 3 people so far. Robert has finally typed yes, sir. I don't know if that is also yes, sir. So I'm still expecting more. Uh, uh, yes. So when I ask you to type like this, it's also telling me whether you are in the class or you are busy with preparing breakfast, or you are in the bathroom, or you are in the kitchen, or you are um, somewhere else. So I have a way to uh, ensure that you are fully you are participating in the class. I've seen Robert Fashion, Ghanaiat. I've seen, yeah. So others, they are not here physically, but maybe spiritually, so to say. Okay, so let's continue with our discussion. We still have a lot to cover. So we've talked about the role of statistics in linguistics and why we need to know the type of data we have, uh, the type of linguistic data that we have before we can do analysis or do, linguistic research. So now let's look at how can we analyze our data. In those days when we were studying statistics, you use your table calculator to analyze, or sometimes you need to use 4-figure tables. Some of you can still remember. You look at log, you look at anti-log, you do all those stuff. Then gradually we use calculator, scientific calculator, and so on like that. But in this age, there are now very sophisticated tools for linguistic data analysis. Just with little effort, you will be able to do a lot of analysis with your linguistic data. Some of the popular ones are listed here, but they are not limited to what you have here. So R is, the beauty of R is that it's open source. You can always download, install on your laptop, and then so it's a very powerful statistical software, and is widely used in linguistics. Other softwares include, in fact, we are using R in this class simply because you are not you don't need to pay for it. It's open source, it's available free. But you need to learn it, and that's the extra work. We won't have the time to be teaching you here, so you will need to create tests, find a way to know it. And I've shared with you my YouTube link. There are resources there, lectures there. Even this one will be posted in my YouTube for you to watch. So there are other lectures I've taken elsewhere regarding R and so on that you can watch on my YouTube and be able to learn how to use R. Then SPSS is a popular software. It's user-friendly. You can use it for survey and experimental data. There is also the PRAAT, which is a specialized software for phonetic and acoustic analysis. Try to know more about them. There is also the popular Python. which is very powerful for text and corpus analysis. Get yourself familiar with all these tools because you are doing computational linguistics, and you need to master the tool of the technique, you know, of the yes. Eddie Bonk, I'm happy to see your hand. Yes, Eddie Dion, sorry. Eddie Dion, yes, you have the floor. You are muted. Eddie Dion, you are muted. Eddie Dion, unmute yourself and speak. Or do you have problem? You can also type if you have problem with your microphone. We are not able to hear you. Are there other reactions that, yes, Edith Dion. Go on.
Good morning, Prof. Good morning,
I think your
everyone.
net. Good morning. Wow.
Hello.
Yeah, your network is not stable, I suppose. Your connection is not so good. Maybe you type. You can type your comment. But if there are other contributions or comments, let me know. If not, yes, let's just continue until once you sort the connectivity problem, feel free to just speak. Now, these are the tools that you need to learn. Not necessarily all of them, but you can't be an engineer, for instance, without mastering the tools for construction. You can't be a medical doctor without mastering, the key instrument or equipment, for checking health conditions. You can't be, so you need these tools to be able to work as a linguistic researcher. So why do you need to use statistical software? Why? So one, you can manage very large amounts of data. Compared to when we used to have very small data, we enter them in the calculator. These days, sometimes you must have heard about big data. So the world is now driven by data. Even on your phone, imagine the number of text messages that you receive on a particular platform. We can analyze all the chats on our group, for instance. We can use, as we will see later. So we can look at articles, we can analyze them, and make sense from them. So, to do that, you need statistical software that will help you to manage the data set. Then you can do automation or automated analysis, which will help to reduce human error in calculations. So instead of using brain work and so on, automation will take care of the calculations. You can write programs, you can write, so I'm sure there are other courses that will introduce you to programming and all of that. So then there are software visualization tools. Why you need to master them, you will be able to create visuals rather than telling stories. Visualization, graphics, infographics, they are very, very helpful in communicating your results, as a researcher. You can create plots, you can create graphs, to ease the interpretation of your linguistic analysis. And then, of course, for purpose of reproducibility. So you are able to reproduce your findings. So even another person with your script or your code and your data will be able to get the same result and findings and conclusions as yours. So that makes your work to be objective, verifiable, and of course, convincing. If you want to say anything, please feel free as we go on. So we will not end this lecture without having a sort of hands-on activity. And so in this hands-on activity, we want to see the simple way how we can conduct, use a statistical tool like R and R Studio to handle linguistic data set. So the activities will involve you installing R and R Studio. So if you have not installed, you will need to install between now and before we meet. Even the other course, you will still need the R because it's this adopted software that I will be using for the two courses I will be teaching you. So in this hands-on activity, I'm going to load a very small linguistic data set, which is about vowel duration. And then I'm going to explore basic functions to be able to summarize the linguistic data set. And then we'll be able to do a few other analyses and then discuss the findings, together. So this is the data set this is the linguistic data set that we want to use for the hands-on activities. So it contains a vowel duration of 10 speakers. This is speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, speaker 4, speaker 5, speaker 6, speaker 7. This is the vowel, the speaker, for speaker 1, and this is the duration in milliseconds. And this is the fundamental frequency, and this is the gender of the speaker. This is the dialect region of the speaker. So there are two regions to consider here, north, south. There are two genders considered here, male, female, and of course there are also you also have the values for the fundamental frequency, the duration, so the vowel, and then the speakers. This is speaker 1, speaker 2. So this is the data, and this data set, you can analyze them using any of these software. Even Excel can do the analysis, but we are using R. So, so before we begin, we have to start by loading. We need to load. We need to load the data set. So I'm going to take you now to this is, I'm sure you can see my screen. So this is the R software. This is the R Studio interface. I won't have time to be telling you about the R this thing. You will need to learn about the software. So the starting point will be for you to download. First of all, download the R, install it, then download the R Studio, install it, and then you can launch the R Studio. Always remember that R must be installed before the R Studio. If you watch some of the videos introducing you to R, you'll be able to see the installation process. But if you have challenges, you can also come to statistics department, ask for UI LISA. That's the University of Ibadan Laboratory for Interdisciplinary Statistical Analysis. You will get assistance. People will be able to assist you there. You can also, if you need a referral, can also get. But if you take time to look at the YouTube, you can also help yourself, in some of the issues. So this is the R Studio, and the starting point is to load our data. So which means this data, we have to load it in the R. So this is the way to be. I'm going to load it, and so this is where we run. Anytime you want to run the command, this is the page where you can always create a new, for instance, you can create a new R script. This is where you create, just click this one, a new script will be created, and you can begin to type your command there as you wish. So that's how this page is created, this script is created, and then these commands are now written. So this command, the first command here is actually a comment. Anytime you see hash like this, is telling the R that what is there is a comment, is not executable. You don't need to execute it. But if there is no hash, then it's executable. So line 2 is going to create a data frame, and it's going to give it a name, linguistic data, link underscore data. So the data frame is going to be this one. This is the data frame. It has rows and columns. So we will tell you more about data frames later. So in that data frame, there is a column for speaker, which is giving speaker 1 to 10. Then there is column for vowel, and because vowel, they are characters, that's why you see them in quote. But duration is numeric, they are not in quote. So the numeric ones are not in quote. But gender, they are in quote because they are characters. Dialect is also in quote because they are characters. So this, up to this point, creates the data frame. So you can simply run that section. So it has run it. That's what you see there. And then, of course, you can now view the data by using the view function. You want to view the data that is stored in the linguistic data. So you can view it in the RStudio. So if you now put your cursor here and you click run, then this is the data that you have. I don't know if it's so bold. Let me increase the font a bit so that you'll be able to see it better. Maybe I make it 18. So, okay. But if you can't see it here, you can just, you can also see it here. Let me put it here. So this is the data. So it has speaker 1, 2, 3, 4, the vowel for speaker 1, the duration, the FO, the gender, the dialect. So this is the view of the data. So the data you see here is what has been entered into the R environment. So let's go back to the code. So now that we've seen the data, we can summarize the data. So how do we summarize? We use in line 11, we use the summary function. So if I run that summary function, it will summarize each variable in the data. It will summarize each of these. So let's run that. So this is the summary, the result of the sum that we have. So you have for this, remember for the speaker, so even though it's 1, 2, 3, so it's telling you the minimum is 1, the maximum is 10, and so on. Then for the variable vowel, it's saying there are 10 there, but they are characters. This is duration. It's telling you that for the duration, the minimum duration is 90, the maximum duration is 140. The mean is 116, the median is 117. The first quartile is 102 and the third quartile is 128. For the FO, you can see the minimum frequency is 200, the maximum is 260. The gender is character, that's why you see character there, so on and so forth. For those that are character, you may also want to quickly use a table function. For instance, speaker is vowel is a character variable. So you can use this table for function, for instance, to summarize it. So if I run that, this tells me that there are 4 A vowel, there are 3 I vowel, and there are 3 U vowel. So in the data. For the gender, I can run it. For female, it says I have only 5. For male, I have only 5. And then we can also, for the dialect, I can run that also, and that gives me that for north, I have 5 speakers from the north, and I have 5 speakers from the south. Then, of course, other type of analysis that I can run, one, visualization. This time you want to visualize the data using box plot, for instance. So if I run this, this is going to give you what we call box plot. I'm not so much worried about the interpretation now, but you can zoom it here, make it a bit bigger, and then so in this, it has summarized the vowel for A. No, all those speakers with A. No, the vowel duration for A, the median is where you have this thick line. Here is the minimum, which is around 1, no, maybe 115 or 117. The maximum is 140. That's what you have there. This is the median, which is slightly below 130. So this is the first quarter. This is the third quarter. This is the first quarter. But when you compare the duration, the median duration for A vowel with the I vowel, no, the median is much smaller. Look at the median. If you trace it, the duration for I vowel is around maybe 95 or thereabout. And if you compare the maximum of the high duration with the maximum, so you see that A has the highest vowel duration compared to I, even compared to U. The one with lowest vowel duration is I. So this is the way you visualize your data and make sense from it. Then apart from the box plot, this is called the box plot because it shows not only the visual, is also it shows quite a number of other important statistics that helps to understand the distribution of the vowel duration. We can also use box plot. We can plot we can generate the plot for, yeah, so I think we've done that. So the thing now is, suppose we have a claim or we have an hypothesis that we want to test, just like you have seen there. We can run a t-test for gender, whether the duration for gender for male is the same as the duration for female. So let's run line 18 now. So line 18 gives us this result. So in this result, you have a hypothesis that is being tested. I hope it's very clear. So the emphasis is about the duration, this duration, and of course the gender of the speakers. We are now trying to see whether in terms of average, whether the male's duration is different from the female duration. That's what that hypothesis is helping us to. So the alternative hypothesis is what is specified here, that there is true difference in the means between female group and male group. That is, the difference in the means is not equal to 0, which means they are significantly different. So now you have 95%. Don't worry too much about this concept. You'll get to know them. So you have a 95% confidence interval, and that gives you this interval. So even looking at this interval, the fact that you have 0 between this interval, shows that there is there's really no difference in these two. No true difference between the two. And if you look at the average for male, average duration for male is 115. The average duration the average duration for female is 115. The average duration for male is 117. So based on this, we can say there is no difference as far as the mean duration, forward duration for male and female. The last thing is to want to look at, okay, is there really a relationship between duration and the fundamental frequency? Are they related? Do they really have relationship? Even though we have very fewer number of speakers, but we can have a plot to show this plot. After running this now, you have this plot. So this is the plot, and you can see how the plot looks like. So this is the plot of the duration and the frequency. The frequency on the vertical axis and the duration on the horizontal axis. And you can see the points. You can see for number of points, this seems to be moving this way. In other words, as duration increases, it appears that the frequency is, as duration increases, it appears that the frequency reduces. Because when duration, for instance, is 90, you can see frequency is around, is over 250. And when duration increases to 120, frequency drops to about 210. So one thing we can see is something that looks like they move in opposite direction. So as one increases, the other appears to be decreasing. So this is the kind of visualization that you can have, and you can test, this type of this kind of analysis. So the correlation is measured here using Pearson product movement correlation, and that gives you minus 0. That also tells you the value here gives you two things: the magnitude, which is 0.40, and the direction, which is given in terms of whether minus or plus. When it is minus, it means they are negatively correlated. When it is plus, it means they are positively correlated. When they are negatively correlated, it simply means that they are moving in opposite direction. The increase in one is leading to decrease in the other. So we will still talk more about these techniques, but this is just to whet your appetite as one, quantitative techniques, what it entails, the coverage. So I'm now going to conclude, begin to round up this discussion. So all these results are here in your note also, so you can even reproduce them when you have installed your own software. Get the same results. The codes are there, so you just type these codes. Make sure you type them correctly, because any error can also may not help you to get the result. So you type this, get the result, type the summary, get the result, do this, got this, and so on like that. So far, we've been able to look at the summary statistics from there. We've been able to also use the software to do visualization. We've also performed t-tests to check gender differences. We've also looked at correlations, to look at relationship between phonetic features. So to summarize all that we have discussed so far, we can see that quantitative analysis provides a structured way to study language. And that is very clear now that you can apply statistics in linguistics, and then you will be able to have objective analysis. You can use statistics to describe, to test, to predict linguistic pattern. You can also create different types of linguistic data. You can, you can analyze different types. You can also, match different data types with the appropriate statistical method. And then you now know the tools, the statistical software that are available for analyzing language linguistic data. So mastering this software will be very, very helpful. So that is the end of the lecture this morning, but there are sort of, we will create time now for discussion, general discussion, maybe in the next 10 minutes or so, and reactions from you. So you have the floor, ladies and gentlemen. I can see about 12 of or 11 of us in the class, yes. 11 of us in the class. So what are your questions? What are your comments? What are your suggestions? Everybody will speak. Let me start with Deborah. Deborah, she's not on the call. Favor. Yes.
Good morning, sir.
I need to see your face.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma.
Yes, sir. Well done, sir. And sir, I feel like I'll have questions once I'm able to apply my data on the apps first, on the R application.
Yeah, so what are you taking away from today's lecture?
So I've taken a lot from today's lecture. Basically, I didn't know that statistics could actually analyze linguistics data this much. So I'm very surprised. So I have a lot to actually review.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lawal. Lawal. Robert.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure learning from you. Well, I have a little background in statistics, so I read computer in my so I think I'm familiar with it. I just need to go and open my book and get into the lecture proper. And well, it's interesting to see that this, I mean, it's really broad. I mean, if you are saying that linguistics and statistics is working together, so we would have to analyze a lot of linguistic data from the linguistic environment that we have in the country. So there's a lot to explore. That's what I can take away from this lecture.
Thank you. So drive carefully. Babatunde. Babatunde, I saw you peeping the other time, so you have the floor now. Adedeji. Are you still there or you have disappeared? Babatunde, what of Deborah? Deborah refused to talk. Ganiat, I'm back to you. Just give me your takeaway now.
Yes, sir. I actually enjoyed the class, like, and I've been trying to like get the basics of how to run this kind of a linguistic analysis using R. So, but this has given the basic knowledge. So I'm going to run the code on the app after I install it, and yeah. So
That's good.
I'll do the answer. Yes, sir.
That's good. You could even generate your own data yourself, perform the experiment, maybe among your family member, choose the vowel, even among if you're a teacher somewhere and so on. So collect the data and subject them to statistical analysis. That's a good one. Ayanfe Olua, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Prof.
Let me see your face.
Okay. I'm not sure. Is it working?
Well, it's not working, but just go on.
Okay, sir. So, what I got from the class today was I joined a bit late, so
Yeah.
I guess I missed some of it. But since I studied on computer science BSc, just seeing the interaction, the possibility of the programming languages that we learned being used in linguistics, because linguistics is a big interest of mine right now because of what I'm trying to study. So, and I don't have any background in linguistics, but I have a background in computer science. So seeing how the two intersect was really fascinating for me today. So yeah, thank you very much, sir.
You are welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so can I hear from Udo about Udo? If you are
Good morning. Good morning.
good morning. If you are able to share your video, that would be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I really have a talk in this class. All right, then. I would say that I'm very happy with what I've seen, what I've heard today. Actually, it's very interesting observing that or knowing that we can actually analyze the linguistics using like analyzing linguistic data using statistical instruments. And I really love it because it appears to be very, very interesting and fascinating. Thank you.
Okay, so your key takeaway is that it is fascinating, right?
Yeah, because actually, I was very tired of the qualitative analysis of researches. So moving from qualitative to quantitative now is very interesting for me, and I really love what could be done with R. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, who else have I not called and who wants to say something? So, yes, who else would love to say few things before we close the meeting? Good morning, sir. This is from Lawa. Is R Studio the only IDE we can use for R, sir? I'm speaking because I'm more comfortable. Yeah, you can use any IDE that you are comfortable with. Robert, yes. So use any ID, that you are comfortable with. You are not that restricted. So Lawal again say, I'm really fired up with today's class. I look forward to more linguistic analysis in arts. I've been a Python programmer using Python. That's great. So we can also work together. So we can partner, we can do a lot of stuff together. So I'll be looking forward to that. Babatunde, you are free now to comment. You are muted. If you can unmute yourself, that would be great. You are muted. And we see more of your cap than your face. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Babatunde.
Yeah, think I really enjoyed the class, but sir, I just want to ask two questions, sir.
Go on.
From the lecture, I'm kind of having some question in mind. That how can we differentiate between quantitative and qualitative approaches in linguistics? And also the second question is that during the data analysis, we said you made mention of we installing our software. So is it only our software that we can use to analyze computational linguistics, or can we use other software like Python and some other approaches of data analysis software? Sir?
That's great. I think, yes, for the first question, in my presentation, I made it clear that you could have qualitative and quantitative.
All right,
But
sir.
maybe you mute yourself. The background noise is too much.
All right, sir.
Are you in the assembly?
No, I'm the officer.
Your children are making noise. So I did mention in the lecture that one thing that distinguishes the qualitative from the quantitative is the fact that you use data in quantitative. You use data in quantitative. And you use statistical methods in quantitative. But in qualitative, you don't have to use data. You can analyze a speech based on your intuition, whatever other techniques. For instance, in legal field, they have a way to interpret legal documents. They are not subjected to this statistical analysis. They call it doctrinal principle and so on like that. These are qualitative techniques. In quantitative, the key distinguishing element is the fact that you have to use data. And two, you have to use statistics. And I've shown you the three key things that statistics will help you to do: to describe, to draw inference, and of course to perform linguistic experiments. So, which is not possible in qualitative approach. With regard to your second question, you will see on the screen I listed popular tools for linguistic data analysis. The R, the SPSS, the PRAAT, which is a specialized tool for phonetic and acoustic analysis. I've not used it before, but you can also search and know more about it. I've had people saying they are good in Python. So there are several others that are not even listed here, but they are also very useful as far as linguistic computation is concerned. But I gave a justification for the choice of R. I said R is powerful. It's open source, so you are not paying, no license, no this thing. So, and it's widely used. They use it in developed countries as well because it's free. So you have a large user of R package. It's not only used in linguistics, even in economics, in engineering, in physics, in other disciplines. R is versatile. But those in programming and so on, they usually prefer Python because, again, even you can do a lot of computing stuff, including creating websites and so on like that. So Python has its own followers, but to answer your question, it's not only R that you can use for linguistic analysis. So I think on this note, we are good to call the meeting off, except there are other Bonnie. Babatunde, yes. Are you still talking? No. Okay, so I will announce the next meeting for the machine learning course. Thank you, and maybe before the end of the day, this video will be uploaded on the YouTube, and I'll be able to share the screen so you can watch again and even share with those people. So, but remember, when you watch my videos on the YouTube, please like, share, comment, and do those stuff that you know how to do. Enjoy the rest of your day. The discussion in the class is, the note is taken. I will share the link also with you. So bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye, sir. Thank you. God bless you, sir.